This was written over 20 years ago. Edits made over 20 years ago. Written over 60 years ago. History always repeats itself. This is Milton, Friedman, 1982. Keep in mind, edits in 2002. Political freedom means the absence of coercion of a man by fellow men. Think about that. The fundamental threat to freedom is power to coerce, be it in the hands of a monarch, dictator, oligarchy, or momentary majority, any political system. One feature of a free society is surely the freedom of individuals to advocate and propagandize openly for radical change in the structure of society peacefully. In order for men/women to advocate anything, they must in the first place be able to earn a living. This already raises a problem in a socialist society, since all jobs are under the direct control of political authorities. Let that sink in, especially the last one. This was written over 20 years ago. Edits made over 20 years ago. Written over 60 years ago. How accurate is this to de facto what we're seeing now? How accurate? If anybody wanted to work a normal job now, they are taxed by the government, so that quite literally represents all jobs are under direct control of political authorities implicitly from taxes. And your consumption is under direct control of political authorities. What you make in your investment, your return on investment, is controlled by political authorities. Doesn't sound very free. That sounds like a quite literal threat to freedom from Milton Friedman's Capitalism and Freedom. Coercion, another example. Do we have much choice in our buying power? What we can buy with, say, $100, we go to the grocery store. Do we have much choice in that? It's probably not going to be the best stuff for our bodies. Clothes. It's probably going to be clothes that have been arbitraged in foreign economies. All right. Exploitative labor, coercion in terms of, this might be a little bit more of a stretch, but it's still valid. Coercion in terms of the Central Bank of Canada manufacturing inflation rates, manufacturing interest rates. If you haven't taken any economics courses, this is a pretty simple phenomenon to understand, is that the lower the interest rate, more people will invest in stuff they don't have the money for. National Renewal Party does not believe in interest rates because we believe that interest rates are a byproduct of greed, and B, interest rates are to support this elaborate system that is made to coerce. It's made to give people a false sense of hope in some cases. So coercion in that respect, I think, is valid. If the government has say in, and also private financial institutions have say in where the monetary policy should go with respect to interest rates, what the market is showing, it's only curbing a short-term problem. It's overcoming it for an even worse outcome in the long term. Depressions. It's the business cycle. You have a peak, then you have a depression and a trough. And that is the worst time to be alive. Complete lack of freedom. That is where you see zero freedom. Because the whole time you might not have realized your life is in another person's hands. Then you do. Then you realize how the top of the pyramid, if they mess up, if they miscalculate, if they count their money too much, they might not see the bottom line, counting no money. And then from there, the dominoes fall. So going back to private financial institutions, they're also responsible. They're part of the system. And monetary policy, for example, is essentially the fractional reserve banking system that they use. And that means when I put money into my checking account, the bank implicitly has the ability to invest my money. Even though it looks like all my money is there, there's a bit more nuance to it. So, whatever the case may be, I believe that banks, certain percentage, banks must leave in your checking account, and the rest, they're free to do so at their will. That doesn't sound very democratic to me. See, if everybody requested their money out of a bank right now, hypothetically, if everybody wanted cash, it's hard to say what would happen from that, but I would err on the side that it might not be good. You might realize that if everybody stopped using these financial institutions, that maybe some money is getting invested overseas. Perhaps you can't get that money back instantly if everybody wanted their money back at one time. And we've seen that in America with the Silicon Valley Bank, right? They were not insured, and that's another thing. That's how the two and two play together. The central bank and private financial institutions, if they're insured, oh boy, they'll just keep manufacturing a fake reality. Many might share that perspective. So, with that being said, the National Renewal Party aims to abolish these private financial institutions because all they are is a glorified and well-marketed thief. The interest rate that you are getting from your savings account or whatever account you have is a fraction of what the bank is making on your money. And that's why they hire the top out of university, because the top out of university good with numbers, good with analyzing, and that's all it comes down to. They have models, risk management models, quantitative models to extract and to predict the outcome of the future. That would be true if we're all robots, but we're humans. So it's time that everybody takes a stand at this. If you don't want to see your life end up with disenfranchisement, the revocation of your freedom, I believe that's a word. If not, I just made it up. Then you would do something now before it's too late. I think that's a wide consensus. I think even people who work at the bank, they realize that what they do is not contributing much to society other than monetary. So that's this video on the system, capitalism and freedom, focusing on financial institutions, and the system that controls it all. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.